In today's session, we would like to talk about a fun topic about the way we talk, human to human, and a kind of analogy between human to human and human to, say, computer, and how, for instance, AI bridges this gap. Imagine you are an English speaking person and you're going to talk to a Japanese guy. So you may have some sort of interpreter, right? Or you may know Japanese or vice versa, but most of the time, or if you want to go deeper in the conversation, you may find someone who can speak both languages and help you guys, right? So similarly, you can think of AI the same way as that interpreter. That you speak your own language, AI interprets to computer, and the computer does it work, right? So in that case, you need to be as clear as possible, right? So this is the framework that we would like to go through in this course. So that the analogy that I shared with you as an interpreter versus AI. So the syntax or the computers, because they deal with syntax in the past because it wasn't easy to talk to computer. So lots of different languages were developed. In the early ages, it was much more difficult than what we even have before AI revolution somehow. But now at least you have languages very close to computer language, like what we do in Python, for instance. So we just need to say what we want and why you need that. This is similar to what like an interpreter needs it, right? An expected outcome. And then you get a good feedback from your, if you're talking to, for instance, interpreter to translate to another language. So you need at least these three, like to be clear, not necessarily perfect. The rest is being handled by AI or your interpreter, right? That somehow is the definition of vibe coding, right? So you know what you really want, and you ask the AI to interpret it and talk to your computer. It doesn't mean necessarily eventually, but at the moment, maybe it's still a bit, you need to know more about what AI or computer does. But eventually, if things become more and more complex and more accurate, you probably don't need to know exactly what your AI interpreter does or what your even computer does in the future, right? To some extent now as well. But you need to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, it would be difficult to get what you want from your or expect from your computer, either through your own action manual, traditional way of communicating with your computer, or through AI or interpreter, as we said. And the cool thing about this is you can actually, it could be iterative. So you can actually look at the graph here. Hey, as a human, you talk like English or in languages. It should be super clear, right? And then AI would give you like ChatGPT or Gemini will give a code like in Python the way the computer understands, and the computer does the work, and then you now interpret it. You say, okay, yeah, this was what I wanted, or I didn't want. Then you keep going, right? Keep talking in a sense. Nowadays, like we can even talk to just talk to computers or even your cell phone and write a code, and then you get to get the result, right? People doing it. I sometimes do it. I just want a quick understanding of something, or I have an idea in my mind. I just talk to AI or ChatGPT to like, and then see the result in Python or another language, for instance. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you is this analogy, not to be necessarily afraid of okay what AI does, can we get what we want from our computer or from AI? That's the whole idea. You can think of sort of like interpreter how that languages are being transferred to each other. All right. So let's just now that we understand the clarity is important, let's have a couple of examples of what we mean. So imagine you start with, let's say, ChatGPT. Say, okay, do that thing with numbers. Just give this type of conversation. And then ChatGPT, and because they are smart now, say, what are you talking about? I need a little more context. And it's just keep asking you other questions, right? Because it wasn't super clear, right? But imagine you try to be more specific and clear. Say, calculate the average of these numbers. Now it's clear. If you have a question, you have a context, and you know what you want, right? And you expect that average, and then it just tries to calculate for you. Either write a code or you just quickly do it. And why it's a large language model. So this is just very quickly done because it's quite simple one. Or if you say So that's a good versus kind of bad one, right? And here another example. Say, fix the list to look better. All right, because now at this stage, because we have a background here, like a memory here, or context, or window context here, then it understands that, or you refer to what we had here, right? This list, for instance, things like that. But if you start this one from scratch, it would be confused, right? So we're talking about which list. But now it answers you, but still not a good one, right? Because you're not referring to a specific one. If your idea is exactly what we mean here, what it does, so that's nice. In terms of like the list of numbers, all right, it just does it for you and just give you more information, the average, and if you want more style differently, etc., I will ask you. But imagine a good one, another good one, for instance, or clear message. Say sort this list, and you give a list properly, alphabetically, let's say. Right? That's a list, a nice way of saying it. So he actually does it for you. Or if you want a Python code, for instance, because we're talking about Python and vibe coding in Python here, so Python code for each of the and how they work from what we had before and how they work. So you can just go ahead, the averaging. So give the numbers. You can see this is the way that we talk, and give the average, which is sum over the length of the numbers, right, and then print the average, and it does it and shows you. Or sorting would be just you get the list of the names and sort them. Sorted is a function names, and it's going to be in the sort. Now you have it stored in another variable, say, and then you print them, correct? And yeah, it just gives you the output in this way. And if you want the names like sorted in reverse, so Z to A, and you just do it, it's there's another say parameter that you need to make sure that's correct. It's sorted those names, which is the list, and reverse true, and then it does the reverse one. All right. So you understand now the clarity of um, what we want is so super clear now, not necessarily the perfection. So keep asking and keep try to practice all these different types of questions that you have with your computer using this type of analogies and frameworks. And don't worry about it if it's accurate or not. Just keep going because it's a kind of loop, right? You get the code, you write it, and then you run it. And if you want, go to Google Colab as we discuss it, and then try to understand it better. Keep practicing. Until next session, see you and good luck for now.